Hey guys, Pedj Bojic here on my first story about Pimp My Chimney food truck launching. Now, people that do know me would know that I've been in health background myself as an ex-footballer, but also as a PT. So it sounds like a bit of a contradiction when it comes to doing desserts. Not necessarily the case when you love them so much yourself that even pro athletes still have them. So it's kind of a bit of a balance. And maybe I have that, as you could say, that experience to know the balance between the two. That's how I look at it. Anyway, the way Pimp My Chimney came about was purely by accident. I was in Europe, funnily enough, on a sad note that my father passed away, and I was there to say my goodbyes. And I was actually just having a chat with someone, a normal chat at a cafe. It wasn't even about business or anything. And then somehow this idea came about. Long story short, to do a food truck with this pastry called a chimney cone with ice cream. And it was a done deal then and there. I said, yep, done, let's do it. Sydney food truck launch. So the next step was actually understanding the food truck game, which I have no idea about. Well, I didn't then, sorry. So the challenge for me was to learn the food truck game very quickly. Every industry is different. Obviously, there's certain structures that apply to all businesses. I get that. But a food truck was a different domain for me, and I spent many countless nights trying to learn the game from a cost-effective point of view, how to set one up, to running a truck. You know, I tend to eat at cafes a lot myself, so I guess from a customer point of view, I feel like I have an understanding of what I would like to be treated by. So I guess that was probably the experience that I've had. But it was a whole new ball game, and it took about 2 months to try and get an understanding of it, which was the hardest part. Then getting all your licenses and agreements, all that jazz, which is the boring stuff. So leading into it, getting the design truck, everything, not a problem. The brand itself and the menu to the name, I think with that person was done in 17 hours, which was amazing. I think it just flowed from name to menus to design, and it kind of, I guess it's that effortless feeling of when things just fly. And I think when you struggle to find ideas around a business concept, I think that's where the struggle is, and I believe that's at the red flag. It's happened to me before with another business that I did, and it didn't go so well, and I realized back then the reasons why, and I noticed this time when it flowed, it just felt right. So it's about 4 months out from the launch, getting a truck all custom designed. Again, I had no idea what I'm doing, I had to learn it. Found someone in Queensland to build a trailer, that is. The next phase was understanding the game of where it needed to go. Was it going to be a pop-up, or was it going to be an event-based food truck? And then I looked around at, I guess, the top 10 food trucks and top 10 major events that I thought was around in Sydney, and I looked to understand them and see where Pimp My Chimney could fit in. So coming up to, I guess, a few months before, everything looked in order, everything was ticked, ready to go. Met some interesting entrepreneurs in the food truck game who helped give me some insight knowledge, which was phenomenal. So the confidence was building. Everything is checked. I get all the equipment ordered from Europe. Had to buy the car for it, which was fine. So to cut a long story short, we're 1 week out from launch of the food truck. So the trailer is 2 weeks delayed, which was meant to be 3 weeks prior to the event launching, so there was a bit of a stress period there. Fine, it arrived. So why I said I quit 7 times, the reasons for the 7 times quitting was I've never experienced so many breakdowns with any form of business, to the point where it was almost like, if you believe in God, that is, that he was testing me to see what I would do. To the point of where my brand new ice cream machine broke down, which was 1 in a million. The designs weren't completed on the truck. They looking to turn up just a blank trailer, which needed to be done correctly. European equipment for certain top-ins didn't arrive. That's a heating process that was stuck in Europe, which led me to the next major thing that was not with me, which we have these wooden cone rollers where we put the pastries on and we roll it, and that's how we cook our pastries. So it's a grilled traditional Hungarian pastry that we have, and that's the most important thing out of anything of the business, is those wooden cones that turn into the grill, and they automatically turn. So I had the grill because I bought 2 grills. One was in the trailer, which was getting built, and I thought, you know, I'm gonna buy another grill so I can practice here in Sydney to get used to the idea of rolling. That was the only reason why I got one. The problem was those cone rollers were stuck in Europe because FedEx at the time had a worldwide hack on their online system, and all my stuff was stuck there for a good 2 months. So I'm 1 week out without the most important part of the business, which is cone rollers, and that was, I think, part 2 of me quitting and not knowing what am I going to do now. Within I think it was 5 days, I don't know, no one has them in Australia, so I had to then think and find a wood maker, which I went to sorry to say where my puppies are. I had to go to every store in Sydney that was around wood making to understand who could help. Finally, I got through to one person who just moved to Sydney and wasn't doing much work and had some free time, which was perfect. And we went off the measurements off the website of how to make these. And the problem was, though, he eventually got, I think, 20 made in time, which I needed at least 40, but 20 was all I could use. And the things with the cone rollers were, on the end of the metal there is this little clip in that goes into the grill that automatically turns, which therefore he couldn't do because he did not know the measurements of that and also the grill. But he got that done on the Friday, the day before the launch, and I'm so grateful for him for that, because he pretty much saved 75% of the business. What else went through? The dough itself that we're pre-making was working fantastically for a whole week, and then for some reason decided not to work. The dough machine broke down as well, the major one that I have, and therefore had to go and buy 2 little ones from Bingley to spend hours making dough, which only takes about 6 minutes to make a batch of, say, 100. So in order to make a batch of 100, we'll spend in 3-4 hours doing that. What else was there? Oh yeah, so to get you an idea of the 8th time that kept me going was the pastry chef that I had at the time to actually make the ingredient and cook it correctly. I said to him, "You got one chance to make this right, otherwise it's all over." It was all on him, this pressure, to get this to taste correctly. That's what it was, and thank God to him, he nailed it, and that's what, you know, drove me on to say, you know, I have to land in this event, which was Smooth Chocolate that I launched at, and once I'm there, everything will be okay. So everything was coming rosy. Then come Friday morning, I get a few emails about council approvals and inspection reports that were meant to be in the week prior, which never cleared. So at this stage, I've invested into this event, which was thousands of dollars, and also the business, and it was at a cross point of where I won't be able to enter this event and trade my brand new Pimp My Chimney business. So again, back on the phone calls to councils, back and forth, which again, this is new to me. It's a different language. And we finally got through, and it came, I think, by 3 p.m. on the Friday, sent it across, everything was checked. So all we need to do now was bump into the event, set up, and away we go. So we get to the event on the day before, on a Friday night, to set up. Sorry, there's another dog here. So the last shenanigans of this week was I had to hire a driver because the trailer is a big trailer that I have, and it's not easy to navigate at that point. So my driver is driving with me into the event. I kid you not, literally as we bumped right into the event at the rocks, the car's engine just blew on the spot. Smoke came out everywhere. It was almost like, hi guys, we're here, grand entrance, Pimp My Chimney, engine blows in the car. So that was the final straw of the weeks leading to this event. But I was actually not too phased at that stage. The point was I actually landed at the event and I was okay. I'll deal with the engine after, which, just to give you an idea, was $14,000 to change. But again, I ignored that because I was happy that I was at Smooth Chocolate. And then we launched, and it was a successful launch in a sense that we got a lot of bookings from that one event, and it turned into, you know, a pretty full-time food truck business just from that one event. So I'm grateful for that. So the long message there was about not quitting when you're against the wall that many times. There's always another opportunity to not give up and keep going. And I think that's the hard challenge in life, is that when you're faced with a couple obstacles where it doesn't go your way and you feel like you've had enough, there's always another chance to keep going and, you know, just step up and believe in what you are. And, you know, you put all that hard work into something, you know, you just don't turn your back on it. And I think that's something that we tend to do as humans, is we sometimes look for the easy way out because we're feeling a little bit vulnerable at the time, or not truly confident in ourselves. You just got to back what you believe in, and I did from the moment I knew about this product. Those moments of where it let me down that week really tested my courage and my passion for the business, because like I said, I gave up the time. I was laying in bed, I was questioning, why am I doing this? Was this the right thing to do? But like I said, the 8th time I got up. So, you know, it's fine to fall, but it's how quickly can you get back up, I think, is the main message that I'm trying to say here. And I hope that resonates with a lot of people there. I'd love to hear your feedback, or if there's anyone in a similar situation that's launched the business, or in a current work field that has gone through, you know, certain ups and downs, and sometimes finds it hard to find that, you know, extra step to get up and keep going and moving forward. It's a 1.5 years on now with Pimp My Chimney, and the business has done very well and it's growing. Obviously still learning things in the game every week to week, you know, from choice selection of events to understanding your product to customers. I'm not sure why my dogs are going psycho here. I'll just move away from him. But again, please, I'd love to hear your feed. Stop. Sorry about that. I'd love to hear your feed and your comments, and please inbox me or send them below to get more understanding, because this is a great story, I believe, and I'd love to share more with people and hear back into some people what they've done themselves. I think it's great to bounce off one another and, you know, brainstorm and see where, you know, we can help each other. Thanks, guys.